BlizzPro's coverage of BlizzCon 2016 is brought to you by SteelSeries. We are esports. So, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Well Mad Podcast. Just kidding. Feels good every time. John and JR here with Peter Whalen and Rachelle Davis. Got it.
Good job.
So good at names.
Good job.
First of all, thank you so much for being with us. We're really excited. And can we just for a second take a moment and say that this has so much swag and just so much like the design of the new expansion, Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, is so cool. I was really excited when I saw it. I really enjoyed the little ARG that we had going on before leading up to it. I was live streaming when it came up, and we started logging into Facebook and doing this stuff. So how has that been for you? I mean, first, how's your BlizzCon been? Let's start there. How has BlizzCon been for you guys? I'm sure you haven't been asked that question yet. So
BlizzCon has been phenomenal. It's always really exciting to discover a new expansion and to be able to see the public, our players, get to find out about what's up our sleeves. So with the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, we're offering more new Hearthstone content that we got to play with than probably ever before. We've totally revamped what you might know as Gadgetzan, and that was super fun for us. And then to get to reveal that to everybody and talk about these three incredibly sinister crime families that are all vying for their turf in Gadgetzan has been amazingly fun.
Is there, totally sidetrack, I'm already like ADDing a little bit. Is there like in the team, like, are you like, I'm team, whatever, Lotus, or I am team like Edward and like Team Edward, or have you guys stayed pretty neutral on the team so far?
I think we have to stay a little bit neutral on this one. We're excited to see what fans pick, and are you a Cabal person? Are you a Jade Lotus member? Are you a Grimy Goon? We're pretty excited to see how that turns out, but I think we should stay neutral for right now at least.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so one of the things, we were speculating on our show just before BlizzCon. Like, I personally thought this, like, based on the teasers we got, I personally thought this was going to be an adventure mode. And one of the reasons why I thought that is I felt like it would be weird to have right now, before the standard release, in a few months when it rotates, to have a big set like this. Was that talked about at all? And if so, like, what were the discussions on, well, we're just going to do a large expansion now, and we're going to make it this?
We're really excited to bring 132 new cards to you guys with this expansion, and we get to do a lot of that adventure-like lore and exploration through just some of the fantastic art on these cards, the VO that's pretty hysterical on all of them, honestly. And then we really were excited to explore each of the crime families, and we have so many cards now to do that with that it gave us a lot of play space to really hone in on what did the Grimy Goons do, what does the Jade Lotus do, what does the Cabal do. So I'm pretty thrilled that it's actually 132 cards in the expansion.
Yeah, and speaking of that, it does very much have an adventure mode feel. I know when I was playing the demo, it was a Brawl, the characters are sitting there talking back and forth. Is that something we're going to see more in the game, or are we just going to see that kind of in the Brawl or in other areas with this expansion?
We think that's a really cool idea. Obviously, that's why it's in the Brawl. We really like that kind of banter. It gives a lot of flavor and fun. So where that's possible, we'll try it out. And you'll have to just stay tuned and find out how much banter there is. The bosses of these groups have lots to say to one another.
So, Peter, you're a game designer for Hearthstone. If you can tell us, what were some of like your big projects and things that you were working on for this expansion?
Yeah, so I'm on the initial design team, and so we take the first pass at all of the cards. We talk a lot about what the story is going to be, what the idea behind the set is. In this case, we wanted to go to Gadgetzan and explore this faction-based conflict. So you've got the Grimy Goons, the Jade Lotus, and the Cabal, and they're fighting. And how do we represent that mechanically? That's one of the big things that we wanted to work on, and one of the things that came out of that was these Triclass cards. We want these three classes, for the Cabal, that's the Mage, the Priest, and the Warlock, to feel like they're part of the same team and that they're working together. And so we have this Triclass mechanic that says these 3 cards you can play in Mage, Priest, or Warlock decks. And you've seen 2 of them so far. The Cabal Courier, that lets you discover a card from each of those classes. So if you play it as a Priest, you'll get to see a Mage card and a Warlock card and a Priest card. And same if you play it as a Priest or a Warlock. And you'll get to have your friends help you out a little bit. So you're a Warlock, say, you play it and you get a Flash Heal from your Priest allies. And you play it as a Mage and maybe you get Demon Fire, which can help you out. And so all of that is a great way to tie together these families as in the actual game.
So sharing class cards, right? That's my heart leapt a little bit when I saw that we were going to be sharing class cards with each other. And I love the way that you guys have been kind of putting it's like your allies, those 3. What was the design process like when you're looking at which classes are going to share which cards? Was it purely from a balance standpoint, like Priest can't really have a Arcanite Reaper because that is kind of insane, or was it more like, well, we've got like the cloth spellcasters with the Cabal. What was that kind of process like?
Yeah, it really came from the flavor side rather than the balance side. We said, what are the factions that make the most sense in Gadgetzan? Who are the coolest players that we could have on these streets? And we said, all right, the grimy goons, they're going to be brutish. They're going to be the enforcers. They're strong, they're tough. Who are our strong and tough classes that really fit into that mold? And we said, okay, Hunter makes a lot of sense. Paladin makes a lot of sense. Warrior makes a lot of sense. These guys are big and tough. You got Lady Liadrin. She's very powerful, and they make sense to work with Don Honcho on the Grimy Goons. And then we have Kazakis, and he has his potions and his magic and his spells. What are the Cabal? Well, they're the most castery classes, the cloth casters from World of Warcraft, the mages, the priests, and the warlocks. And the final ones are the sneaky. They've got some assassins. They've got a lot of mysticism going on. Who are the sort of spiritual and sneaky classes? Well, the shaman, the druids, and the rogues make a lot of sense in that flavor kit. And so we tied them together flavorfully, and then we made the mechanics work as a part of that.
Great.
Yeah, it feels kind of like the Triclass cards are an answer to having almost neutral spells in a way, in my opinion. So I'm kind of wondering how has the design process and the balancing process been on the Triclass cards? And are you seeing, behind the scenes, are you seeing different decks with that? Or are you seeing very similar decks for like Mage and Priest are being played similarly? Or are they playing very differently, even though they share a lot of the same cards?
That's actually a really great thing with this expansion, is that while we do tie these 3 classes in each of the families together, each one has a different kind of spin. Each one approaches this in a different way. And while you can, in a moment of need, get a flash heal if you're a warlock because you have priest allies, you're still fundamentally going to be playing your warlock deck differently with the Cabal than you would with your priest deck. And there are 9 Triclass cards coming out, so there's that unity there. But there's also a number of Cabal cards that are specific just to your warlock class or just to your priest class, and the same for the other 7. So it's not that we're trying to kind of unify all the gameplay across the classes. They're still very unique. It's just now there's this extra space that you can explore in a pinch.
Yeah, and then going on beyond that, though, we talk about the meta quite a bit in competitive play. And recently, Shaman's been at the top, Priest has been at the bottom, along with Paladin and some others. Was there some thoughts in when you're designing this set on changing that power curve a little bit, maybe balancing some of the lower ones to be higher, or weakening some of the ones that we're seeing at the top right now?
Yeah, so Shaman are very strong right now, but we're excited to see every time a new set comes out how that changes things, how that changes the metagame, which classes become powerful, which ones are weak. We've already shown several very, very powerful priest cards. The Draconid Operative is great if you're interested in doing a dragon deck. Dragonfire Potion. Oh, that's cool. Dragonfire Potion is really powerful in a dragon deck, but also just in a priest deck in general. It's a pretty big area of effect spell. We've shown Pint-Sized Potion, which shrinks all your opponent's minions, so you can Shadow Word Horror them, or maybe so you can borrow them with a Potion of Madness. or more permanently borrow them with some other cards that we've got out there. And so we're excited to see how that plays out. So we are giving priests some powerful options for this set, and we'll see what our players do with it.
I'm running Dragon Priest as soon as the expansion launches.
That's
I'm
great.
really excited about that.
Awesome.
Are you going to play Kazakus in there?
So, excellent segue. Because yes, I am.
Great.
But holy cow,
Yeah.
is Kazakus? It's like Hearthstone mechanics on steroids in a lot of ways. We're talking triple discover, create your own custom spell. The systems behind that have to be pretty insane, but B, the level of decision making that's being introduced is definitely, it's taking Discover up a notch, right? You still have those strategic and situational awareness of like, well, I don't need an Unleash the Hounds here, so that's an easy one, but you're almost creating a card story as you're making these choices. When we talk about Kazakus, what was that design process like? Be like, hey, you know what? People like Discover. Let's just do it 3 times and make it insane. Or was there, something more like, how can we create a deeper level of strategy for Discover and legendaries and how those spells and things work in the game?
Actually, it came out of a conversation that started much like, it'd be really cool if you could just make your own card. That'd be really cool. And then we decided, yeah, that would be really cool. In fact, Peter loves doing that. He does it all day long. So he was like, how do we do that for our players? How do we let them do this amazing thing that is create your own card? And in Kazakus' case, you're creating your own spell, your own potion, and you can create over 100 different variations of it. So from my perspective on the engineering side, that's a whole lot of work. And it's very, very exciting, actually, that we can do this. We can pull this off. Every single one of the options you get has different card art on it. It's also got, custom effects on it. It's pretty phenomenal what happens. And it's also very skill testing from a mechanical side because, as you mentioned, you have to figure out what you need right now or perhaps anticipate what you might need later. You can choose a 1-cost, 5-cost, or 10-cost potion. That's always the first decision you get with Kazakus. So if you're playing him on curve, you might want to choose to play him when you're on turn 5. You drop him down for 4, and then you can choose your 1-cost spell and play it right then. Perhaps that's the right answer. Or maybe you're thinking, I'm going to save this for later. I'm anticipating what I might need. There's just so many choices. And then from there, like you mentioned, there are 2 sets of discovers, and you can do crazy things. You can summon an 8/8, or you can draw some cards, or you can, all manner of things that he can do with his potion madness. So there is a lot there, gameplay and technically, that was extremely exciting for us to explore.
I don't know how you don't just pull your hair out when you get we need to systematically make this work in our client of we want to do triple discover. And I feel like with every expansion and every adventure, there's always at least one card where you're just like, how do they make that happen?
Yogg-Saron.
Yeah. So for that type of design where you're kind of doing that systems piece, do you ever just want to just elbow someone really hard, be like, you're gonna make me lose my mind?
We are very, very fortunate on the engineering side, again, that these awesome designers pull us in very early. So when they're thinking the crazy, when they're thinking about Kazakus and they want to say, oh, let's do your own custom thing, we hear about it on the very, very early side of that. And so we get to start planning, we get to start working with them, and we kind of get to be a little bit of designers too, which is really awesome. So we get a lot of heads up, we get a lot of warning, and it gives us the time to really make it as epic as we would like it to be. And really, they keep surprising us with how fantastic their ideas can be, and we hopefully keep rising to the occasion to make it executed well in game.
Yeah, so with this announcement today, or not today, it was yesterday, I guess, we just got the expansion and the new cards and things like that. I know we were speculating a lot, we were wanting to see, hoping to see new features with the game and things like that. I was just wondering if there's any potential insight you can give to us on, we're building new features. They're going to be coming eventually. We just didn't announce them, at this show.
We're always working on new stuff, absolutely, and we're always trying to listen for what the community wants most. We are paying attention on every single forum, even though we may not always be commenting or responding. We are definitely reading and listening, and rest assured there is stuff coming, but right now we're just really excited about what we've put into the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. I mean, already there's a lot there. There's 132 cards. There's the new Triclass mechanic, which is, brand new and changes everything. And there's a whole lot more coming in the next few weeks as we reveal what each of the crime families is really all about.
And there is a pre-purchase on this as well, correct? Do we know any of the marketing details on that, or is that coming later?
I think it's like the same, right? Isn't it like $50 for 50 packs?
Yep, exactly that.
Yep.
And it's live right now.
Mm-hmm.
Live right now. You can get it on our website. So this one is not in client. It's just on our website. So if you go there, you can get your 50 packs.
Sold. Done every time. Sold. Saving up. Nickeling diamond. Speaking of saving up, though, Heroic Tavern Brawl.
Yes.
Heroic Tavern Brawl
exciting.
coming right around the corner. This has to be an exciting thing, I would say, from both the engineering side as well as the designing side. Heroic Tavern Brawl it definitely is scratching an itch that's definitely seems to be on the very high competitive side. What was the kind of the process going through? Hey, let's come up with this 1,000 gold, $10 Tavern Brawl that's just puts the best people with the best decks or the best counters and the best skill against each other. What was that process like going into designing that?
One of the pieces of feedback that we've gotten the most often from our community is asking for tournament mode. Lots of high-end players, lots of very competitive players that don't play in the Hearthstone Championships Tour would love to see something like tournament mode. And that means a lot of different things to different people. And one of the things it means is having high-intensity games where you care about every decision, every outcome a lot. And so Heroic Tavern Brawl is letting us use our Tavern Brawl space where we explore with crazy new ideas and using that to try and fulfill that dream of I want every game to really matter. I want every game to be very important to me. And so this is not going to be for everyone. We know Heroic Tavern Brawl might not be for a more casual audience, but that's not who it's intended for. And we're happy that there are Tavern Brawls that are intended for different audiences. And in this case, like you said, it's scratching an itch for competitive players that we haven't been able to do before. So we're really excited to see how that turns out.
Awesome, thanks. I have kind of a more random question. Do you have a favorite card of the set? And if it's been released yet, can you tell us what it is?
Oh man, I can. Let's just go with favorite card of the ones that are released.
Okay, perfect.
I'll let Rachelle have Kazakis because Kazakis is amazing. So I'll take Patches because I absolutely love that card. Patches is a pirate. He's a beholder pirate, so he actually has more eyes than the normal pirate, and that means more eye patches. So that's why his name Patches. So I love him. He's fantastic. When you play he's a 1/1 with charge, and whenever you play a pirate, if he's in your deck, he gets in a cannonball and shoots himself onto the battlefield. So it's so much fun. And it does some really cool things with Gang Up. It does cool things in Wild with Ship's Cannon. There's some really... Ship's Cannon.
Think about Ship's Cannon.
Gang up a Patches, get some in your deck, play it with your Ship's Cannon. You can do some crazy stuff. So he's super fun. There's a lot of wild, insane things you can do with it. That's one of my favorite cards in the set.
And thank you, Peter, because mine is absolutely Kazakis. The very first time I saw Kazakis, I was walking through the design area, and I wasn't over there for anything in particular, and I stopped, and I looked at the screen because the designer was playtesting with it, and I was like, what? We're doing what? And then I made him play it again, of course. And from that moment forward, Kazakis was mine. I was pledged to the Cabal. Well, I mean, for
There it
that
is.
moment.
All right.
Yeah, I am
The
actually.
allegiances.
I'm normally a warrior player a lot of the time, so
Okay.
I'm also going to, see what Don Honcho has to offer. But I was very excited about the fact that we're allowing players to build their own custom spell because it's the dream, right?
It is. He's going to make you a deal you can't refuse.
Exactly.
So going up into, we're going to be seeing a early December launch. What is this next month going to look like for you guys as you're preparing for such a huge launch?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is one of the best parts of the job is watching the community see all of the cards that we're releasing. Over the next month, we'll be showing off a bunch of the different families, a bunch of the cards for each of the families, and the different mechanics that they have, and seeing what the community thinks about the cards, getting feedback, but also just seeing their imagination and what kind of decks come out of that. We have some ideas to, oh, this is a deck that we're excited about. This is something that we've enjoyed playing. But we have so many players, and they're so passionate that it's really cool to see what kind of crazy ideas they have, too.
Awesome.
Excitement
what
for
are
me.
you up to? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What are
Okay,
you?
well, I'm also excited as we reveal. That's some of the best stuff to read when you're looking online every morning. I come into the office and I'm just refreshing all the websites that I'm watching, getting to see who's excited about what have we talked about today, like what's the sentiment. For me also, I'm excited for prepping for the actual launch. So there's a team of us that are always there for every moment of release in all of the regions, making sure everything goes smoothly. And there's a lot of thought that goes into that. So that's going to be my focus for the next month, and I'm really excited for it to finally hit the Mean Streets.
Yeah, I know I'm really excited to play this. Like, I played the demo, and just the new flavor of the cards and the new mechanics, and I think that was something that the set really needed as well. Was we really need to see these new mechanics and stuff in that new legendary, which you guys said his name earlier, and I can't remember now. Kazakis was amazing.
Okay. I'm out of my questions, so we can just wrap it up. So thank you both so much for joining us. It was awesome. I'm really like the engineering stuff has been really interesting to me. I wish I could just
so happy.
just kind of pick your brain more. But thank you again so much. We're really excited about the next expansion, and I just need to say one thing: you guys are crushing the themes of this. Like I was like, oh, I can't get better than League of Explorers. It just can't. And then we get One Night in Karazhan, which I had as my ringtone for a long time. It was amazing, and now I've got like the kind of, it reminds me of the old Batman Super Sleuth TV shows and stuff. You guys are crushing it. So thank you so much again. We're really excited for December. I'm really excited to lose my life to Hearthstone yet again. And thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great talking with you guys.
BlizzPro's coverage of BlizzCon 2016 is brought to you by SteelSeries. We are esports.